Good morning.
Good morning. I see you changed your intro.
I actually did a blast from the past.
Okay.
Can you believe that? We just get this camera to focus on us a bit this morning. Yeah, we did a blast from the past, if you want to call it that. We played around. I played around with what there was in the archive that I have in front of me. So
Oh, well, good
I thought,
memories.
wow, this is an old one.
Good memories.
Yeah, talking about blast from the past. You often have this ideal picture of what a place would be or should be, and then sometimes it's either better or worse, or your picture in your mind was 100% correct. That's why I decided to talk this morning about perception versus reality in New Zealand. So, I was actually driving to Rotorua yesterday, and I had this lovely drive, and it was raining like crazy. And I'm talking about raining really a heck of a lot. And as I drove past the cliffs, the waterfalls was falling down, and that made me think back of what's it, the Cliff tunnel down there in the Cape. It's good rain time. You always see this waterfalls, and it was very much like that with the tropical forest. So if I was driving in South Africa, I've never been to New Zealand, and somebody asked me, what would your perception be, or what would you think New Zealand would be like? I would probably have thought something like the Cliff tunnel, but I wouldn't have put the rainforest there in a country that can get this cold.
There are a lot of areas in New Zealand when we drive through that we compare to places in South Africa.
And I'm talking about exactly the same place in South Africa, like exactly.
It looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Alexandra. It's like Colesberg. I mean, if you think Colesberg in the middle of the Karoo, there's nothing growing, it's little bushes like this.
Yeah, it looks like that.
And we popped there, and this place was looking like Colesberg.
Yeah.
And about, 50 or 80 kilometers from there on, we were in a rainforest again.
Yes.
That is the perception versus reality.
Before we continue, my kleindogters
This is going to be in Afrikaans. Sorry
in
about that.
Suid-Afrika in Kaapstad kyk vir ouma en oupa en ons wil as vir graag vir hulle in Afrikaans sê ons is baie bly julle kyk vir ons en ons is baie lief vir julle en Liana jou rapport lyk pragtig.
That time of the year again.
You must say something, oupa.
Ja, julle moet mooi bly daar en eet baie sweets en geniet dit.
Lekker slaap.
Guys, yeah, we haven't seen our grandchildren in 4 years now.
This morning when I spoke to them, they say, yes, but Amma talk English.
Yeah, so they can't understand the English yet.
So I said, I'll say something in Afrikaans.
We're going to South Africa in September, and I think we should try and teach them some English so they can come and live in New Zealand.
They understand English.
Yeah. So let's hope we can give them the right perception this morning. One of the big things, if you talk to South Africans who's never been to New Zealand, that was always a very eye-opener for me. Yeah, it was a big eye-opener for me. The one thing that everybody thinks it's either raining here 24/7,
Yes.
or we are somewhere under the snow,
Yes.
or and this is a nice one, or we are part of Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another big perception.
Well,
People
I
think
think
that New Zealand is attached somewhere to Australia, and
I also thought so.
the 8th or 10th
Oh, okay,
province
I
or
also
something
thought
like that.
I think it depends on where in New Zealand you live, because if you're in the South Island, it snows a lot, and
But not every day.
No, not every day,
No,
but for
You have a
big part
permanent
of the
snow
year
cap
it
on the
snows.
mountains there nearly. So
and it's cold. It's cold. Sometimes even when it's summer, it's cold there.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends on where you live. But when we were getting ready to come to New Zealand, we went and bought. There were these shops that sells jackets and stuff from Switzerland.
Oh, yeah.
Remember? And we bought that because we thought, oh my word, we're going to die of cold.
and I mean, we were coming to New Zealand in the middle of winter, and for look-see, we were coming actually at the worst time, and I still bought long johns.
Yes, I remember.
I bought long johns, and I never wore them. So
Yeah. So yeah, that is not true. It is not always raining. It is raining now. It's been raining for
But it's
3
our
days
raining
now,
season
but
we're
it
going
is
into
supposed
now.
to rain now. We need rain.
And I've heard it's raining a bit more in
Yeah.
Auckland. Well, I think their drainage system is just probably a bit slow this year.
Mm.
We had 388 millimeters on, is it Monday? I think on
Yeah.
Monday. That was in 24 hours. 388 millimeters of rain down here.
The
So,
one thing that I remember when we were looking at all the videos, we were watching a lot of videos about New Zealand before we came, just to kind of familiarize ourselves with what it looks like. I had this idea in my head that we were going to live on this farm-like place in a wooden house. It actually
a wooden
sounded,
house.
yes, it is a wooden house, but still, and but
We
like on
like
a
Heidi.
farm with chickens and that. And I thought I was going to ride my bicycle to town every day to
I
the
want to stop you.
market.
I actually brought a bicycle all the way from South Africa, which
Yes,
I sold in the
with the little
meantime.
basket, because I'm going to ride to the market every day and buy my fresh produce from there, and then I'm going to cook. So I had this, I think I thought about what it was like when we toured Europe. I don't know what I thought. But anyway, we ended up in Tauranga, and it's like a city. So there is a farmer's market on a Saturday, but I'm not going to go with my
Yeah.
bike. And it's not every day. So it's a little bit different than
So
I
basically, you were
expected.
expecting Heidi and Peter
I don't know what
and
I thought. I
grandfather.
just had this romantic idea of whatever. Yeah.
It's always good to have romantic ideas, but you got to have how can I say, a reality behind that as well. So
Yes. No, I'm not disappointed.
mm,
It's just different from what I
yeah.
thought it was going to be like.
I'm proud to say it's not raining every day. Really, I'm really proud to say it's not raining every day. It does rain and it does rain enough.
Yes.
We went through a drought, what they call a drought now, but that has been broken. We our grass go brown, like in a Free State brown. The guys who's ever traveled the Free State in the middle of the winter, that type of brown, or the high felt, that type of brown during summer now. Normally end of Jan, February, it goes brown,
Yeah, but
brown,
it
brown, brown.
also depends on where you are. Where we
Yeah,
live, it doesn't.
it's only this one. Papamoa was brown
Yes, I
again.
know.
Yeah.
And when you drive up to Napier, that side, it's really dry.
Really dry. And
Um,
Taupo as well. Taupo
yes,
was
that
actually
was really
looking bad,
dry.
yeah.
So yes,
But 1 week after the rain, you can see the green is coming
yes,
out again.
beautiful,
So
beautiful.
quickly, it happens so
I
quickly.
know some people. I like the green, and I like the
Mm.
hills, and I just like it. It's my
Yeah.
type of scene. But some people miss the flat and the
Mm.
brown and the dry and the Karoo like look. So
Yeah.
I think then you must just go live in Alexandra.
Alexandra is like the Karoo. If you really miss the Karoo, if you want to see nothing,
Yeah,
go to
it's
Alexandra.
beautiful in a different way.
Even Desert Road. Desert Road is also a
Yes,
bit
yeah.
dry, but it's in fringe with forest, so you don't have to wander far. Then you're in a forest somewhere.
Hello, Shawl. Hello, Benedine.
Kids are just greeting us on one of the other channels down there. So yeah, no, it's interesting that, and sometimes you get this perception that I want to say it's better here than where we came from, but you get the perception that it's unreal, so much better it can be, and people sometimes have got a the betterness is so much better. If you do understand what I'm trying to say,
No, I don't.
no,
But
you don't.
anyway.
That's all right. You get this perception that it's unreal, and sometimes we live in this type of la la land place, and you arrive here and you are shaken to the roots, but you got to take that swinging. I mean, and that's life. You can have a lot of you can have teleurstellings. What's teleurstellings in English? Disappointments in life, and you could have a type of a disappointment when you reach here because you have this unreal thoughts about how New Zealand would be, especially for people who's never been here before. And then suddenly you find out it's not as good as you thought it would be. But it's also not as bad as you thought it would be. So it's still better where you come from than where you came from. So yeah, one of the other things that I think that was a perception in my mind was availability of stuff. Um, Especially in New Zealand, stuff is very available, but you have to choose right. You have to sometimes order it in from Australia. It does arrive, but it's not as available as walking into any shop and getting exactly what you want. One thing she struggled with was the spices when we arrived here.
I still do.
I think we were actually spoiled in South Africa. I mean, there's so much spices there. You just don't know what to take and what to leave.
Yeah, I think the thing is you must just learn where to buy.
Yeah.
So buy your spices from the Indian
Mm.
shops. There are tons of them on every corner in our main street. There is one.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't try to buy it from a back and side because you just gotta get frustrated. They don't have a huge variety. But yeah, just buy it
Mm. And
from the
if you
right
really
places.
want to go back to your South African spices, there's quite a few South African shops all around that you either can order online
Mm.
or so if you really need that specific
Mm.
spice just to make you feel good, do that.
Yeah.
Do that. So what else was a perception for you? What did you think was different? For me, okay, while you're thinking about that, for me the perception was, and it was actually a reality, was that there was only old cars in New Zealand. Because when we came here in 2016, the cars around us were very old.
Mm.
Real old cars. I'm not saying skedonka or rubbish cars. I'm talking old cars. They had a lot of imported cars from Japan, second-hand cars. That was the norm.
Yeah.
And within 2 years, since 2016 to 2018 that we arrived here, things have changed dramatically, really dramatically. So
It
my
has.
perception
It's
coming from
improved.
South Africa was that it was old cars.
It's really improved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these days, you very seldom get a very old car on the road. There's quite the drive for new cars. Um, Financing is done by places like Mazda, Ford, Toyota. They all have got different finance packages on new cars that makes it actually sometimes affordable. You still got to look at your budget. Please
Mm.
don't get me wrong here. As a financial man, I got to warn you about the budget that can be blown easily. But the perception was in my mind that we were only going to get old cars to drive here, and I make peace with that. I really make peace with that. And then when we came here, it was a total different story. So
Yeah,
I
but
think it
that
was
was
better.
2 years. I think a lot of stuff
Yeah, it has
changed
happened.
since
A lot of
we
stuff
were
has happened
here
in two
and
years. So.
when we came to live here.
So
Yeah. Um, I don't know what other. I didn't really have any expectations about New Zealand. I just came with an open mind. Um,
I had some
yeah.
expectations, and I think some of them um, was blown to smithereens and so on. But all in all,
Words are you using this morning?
smithereens that is to be blown in
Whatever.
thousand different pieces. That is
Okay.
one of those things that once the perception has been
Okay.
shattered, it's been shattered. Let's see if there's any comments on housing and furniture. Yeah, that was another perception
Yeah.
that we were.
You think that it's the same than in South Africa? It's not,
Mm,
and that's why I say, if you can bring your furniture, bring it.
yeah,
The sturdy, good quality furniture in New Zealand is really
mm,
expensive. Um, you don't get it from your everyday shop.
yeah,
These days when I go buy something, I ask them, is it assembled or do I have to? Most stuff comes in a flat pack and you have to assemble it yourself.
and then
And
it's
it's
not the
not
best.
sturdy.
Mm,
It's not a good quality wood.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to buy something and you want to buy decent stuff, then you have to buy from very expensive shops.
In 2016, um, we had to see a an immigration advisor in one of those posh suburbs down in Auckland, and we were waiting for her, and we walked through, or next to the coffee shop, there was an estate agent, and I said, let's check the prices out. And at that stage, that posh suburb prices was $1 million a house, and we said to each other, what? $1 million? Come on, it can't be. If we only knew, I think if we bought at that stage that house for $1 million, we would have sold it now for 5 million at least.
Mm,
That
I
was,
think so.
I
Yeah.
think so. Those houses were on the beach, overlooking the rest of the bay,
Yeah.
beautiful, blah blah
If
blah.
we only had the money then.
And they had the money then. Yeah,
Yeah. So housing is very
yeah.
expensive. But the houses looks different than what I
Mm.
expected. I looked. Oh, I don't know why. I always ended up looking at these houses that really looks like farm wooden houses, but they are really nice houses here. Really nice.
It's your dream side that comes through.
Well, I like farm
The
houses, so
Heidi
it's
side.
okay.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yes, the biggest difference is of course that all the houses are built from wood.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say that if you look at some of the houses. You would
Mm.
never say that.
And even those with bricks on the side, the bricks is thinner bricks, just as a cladding on the inside,
Yeah.
is still wood. The other thing about housing is, um, although house prices is way more than South Africa, way more, I find it a bit more, can I say, affordable down here. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but more affordable due to the price of interest that they charge you. I know it's going to go up now, but in South Africa, I was over, I think 11% or something.
I
I
think
charged
if
paid
you
on
can
interest.
just get to the point where you saved up a
Yeah,
deposit, then you
then you
will,
can afford
then
the
you can
house.
afford
Yeah,
a house. Yes.
so
You your your weekly payment
mm,
on the house is almost what you would have
yeah,
paid for a rental. So
so
as soon as you've got that deposit, then you will be
yeah,
able to
to give
afford
you an
it.
idea, I'm paying double the amount per month back on my mortgage that I was paying in South Africa for a house that is 5 times worth more. It might sound weird, but that's really like that. So, and the
Yeah.
figures is there. So,
Yeah, so that's with the housing. And then another thing that is a good thing is that most of the stuff that you can do outside is for free.
yeah.
All the parks. What else did
One
we
thing
have to pay for?
I never thought of, and I was thinking now that,
Mm,
and somebody had a comment like that on Facebook this morning. I never thought about wildlife.
mm.
I never was really worried about wildlife. So I had no perception about any
Because
of the
you knew there
wildlife.
were
No, I mean,
no
I,
elephants and
no, no, I
giraffes.
fully agree. There's no major wildlife here, but I was never worried about the deer and
Mm,
the goats. And I found out that there's pigs in New Zealand as well that you can go hunt. You can go hunt goat, deer, and
mm,
pig. It's a big thing down here, and it's
mm.
the roar now. With the what do you call them, male deer. They go into this phase where the horns are big and so on. So people hunt them now. Um, what other perceptions is there? That you have a perception in your eyes that was shattered or even improved on when you arrived in New Zealand? Come, you can leave me a comment somewhere. Let's see. No comments yet on that. So um, the other perception that I had was that I didn't realize that the ocean was this hot. I was thinking, coming from Cape Town. Well, let's be quite honest. I'm from Cape Town, and the water around the Cape is so cold. You can barely, for most of the year, cannot even put your feet in there. So,
Mm,
um, and I can't even think that in the middle of the winter, the water around Tauranga. I'm not talking about South Island. They're in a different category.
mm,
I can't even think that in the middle of the winter, the water went as cold as Cape Town was.
mm.
So the other day we were out on the boat, and the water was actually over 24 degrees Celsius.
Sure, that's
So
nice.
it's a bit hot. We norm about 22, but 24 we got the other day on the boat. So,
Mm.
and in Cape Town, I can promise you, we never had 24 degrees of water. Can't even think that we're near to 20 degrees. That water is just killing you. So cold it is.
Okay, another thing is, don't think you'll find a mall in New Zealand like you find in South Africa.
Mm.
I don't miss it at all. The malls that we've got here is quite sufficient,
Yeah.
and the shops that we have are really good shops. So I don't miss a mall, but don't think you'll come to, I don't know, what is it, Menlyn in wherever, and
And
Canal Walk,
now
and
walk.
it doesn't look like that
Well,
at all.
the difference is, let's be quite frank about why it's like this. Okay.
They're
And
not that
no.
many people.
No. I've got the full answer on
Mm,
this. In South Africa, you went to the mall as an outing. Okay, because we on a Saturday morning we would take everything. We'd go to the mall. We will have breakfast there, and we'll
true.
wander around because there's not a lot of other places to go to
Mm.
for free. So we'll wander around the mall, go to the Wimpy, have a breakfast.
So it
Probably
wasn't free.
no. But I mean,
Yeah,
price wise.
I hear you.
So yeah, you've got an end destination is the mall because you want to go and buy stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
I've never felt like I need to go and walk through a mall because I'm bored.
I I really go. If I
Yeah,
need something, then
yeah.
I'll go. But I really don't go
And
much.
I struggle to understand her in this instance, but I do understand her now. We've got what you'd call in destination shops. If you want to go to a shop, it's a freestanding shop somewhere like a pack and save. You drive in and go and do your shopping.
Mm,
Well, we were normally only do that with groceries, because the grocery stores in South Africa is quite big.
Mm.
But the rest of the time you spend in the mall.
Yeah.
And she's very easily to get in a car, drive to an end destination shop, either a pharmacy uh, or shopping, or and myself as well, because where I go, Burns go, all the fishing places is not in the mall.
Mm.
It's somewhere. You just
But
drive
you
there
know
for
what?
only
I
that.
think South Africa is one of the few countries that has malls like that.
Mm.
Everywhere that we've been, it is freestanding
Yeah.
shops. Yeah, you've got a separate butchery, a separate cheese shop, a separate whatever.
Mm.
So yeah, I think South Africa is just different in that way.
One of the questions that came in: do you need a rifle license for hunting? You need a license from the police to have a rifle. Now, I'm no expert on that. I've just heard that's what people tell me. And once you get that license, which could be quite a long process, you can buy a rifle or a few rifles. So, one of the things they say here, friendly Kiwis and acceptance of immigrants.
It
It
varies.
varies, yeah. I won't actually want to say it varies. I just spoke yesterday to a Kiwi, and he sent me a photo before the time and said, don't be scared, this is what I look like. So, but probably one of the nicest people that I've actually met in New Zealand. One of the really, really honest, decent people out there.
Yeah. I think this is one of the instances where what you give is what you'll get in return. Or that is just what I
yeah,
feel.
I feel as well. And we as South Africans, coming from where we are coming, we've got a very, um, we're driven. We're really driven hard. And we need to have that in us just to survive.
Mm.
While it's not that needed down this side.
I'm not finished with that one.
Okay.
A lot of people say that they find the Kiwis don't like immigrants. I think it in the probably the older generation it may be true. I've heard quite a few stories, but on the other hand, 3/4 of New Zealand
Is
is
immigrants.
immigrants. So I think it's for some Kiwis maybe just difficult to get to that. But I think when you give a lot of yourself to the Kiwis and they get to know you, they'll really love you and you'll really get to love them too.
Question here: how do you experience the weather versus SA, especially the rain and winter? We come from Cape Town. Was raining in
It's
the
the
winter
same.
there?
Yeah.
It's actually
It's not that much rain
no, no.
actually.
I want to fully agree with you. It's more rain, as in the amount that falls, but it's not a long period of rain as in Cape Town. In Cape Town, you could sometimes even have a week that it's overcast and it's that drizzle rain the whole time. You don't see sun for a week long. While here, it can 2, 3 days probably, depending from which side. It can actually learn something yesterday which side the rain comes and stays.
Okay.
Okay, depending from where it comes. I never knew that. So um, it can stay for a day or two, but thereafter. Uh, yeah, this is
That is a
interesting.
good
Maybe
one.
talk about the medical system and doctors and the perception that it's free, but it isn't, and nothing like in SA.
It's not free.
It's not free.
It's not free. You pay for your doctor's
Yep.
visits. I
I'll
know
leave it up
that children, I don't know under the age of what,
I think children under 16. Sorry, I don't have kids under that age. So
yeah, their medical
Yeah.
is for free.
their dental is also for free, but I don't think it includes braces.
No, it's
If I'm
just
right.
the
Yeah.
general
General
dental.
dental.
The the hospitals are free,
Yeah, but it's slow.
but it's very slow. So
Hospitals are beautiful. Let's get
yeah,
let's
no,
get that
it's
perception
it's
right
good.
as
The
well.
hospitals are good, but it
Mediclinics
is
are
very
Africa
slow.
standard.
So you'll have to sit and wait
Mhm.
for 4 or 5 hours for someone to
Yeah.
help you if you just walk in there, but it is for free.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you have to get an operation or anything, and they put you on a list because you'll get on a list, and sometimes it can take very long.
Yeah.
But when you get to the point where it is your turn for your operation, everything is for free. So
And it's really for free.
it's really
It's
for
really
free.
for free. So,
Yeah. And I know when you're pregnant, all of that is also for free.
but currently the list, if you need a hip replacement, is about a year,
Yeah, okay. It
over a
can take
year.
long.
Tonsils
Yeah.
is 12 months.
You
13
can
months.
take out medical insurance,
Mm.
and that way you can actually see a specialist, and you can
Yeah.
get on. You can get your
I
operation
actually
sooner.
found uh, actually found um, medical insurance yesterday after a long discussion with a company that is willing to do day-to-day stuff,
Mm.
doctors, dental up to about $1,000 per year, glasses and everything else included for about $18 per person per week.
Oh wow.
But I'll speak to you later about that because I think we should go on that
Okay. Yeah.
plan.
So yeah, it is. It is not free.
Yeah.
And you pay for your prescription at the doctor's office. Not if you go for your appointment, but if you need a repeat, you'll pay for it.
Yeah, for
And
$25
you
roughly.
pay for your medication at the pharmacy. You pay
Five.
$5 per
Time
medication that you
for
get. So
3
if
months.
you've got 5 tablets, you'll pay $5 for each tablet.
Mm.
For it, and I mean that is for mine goes for 3 months.
Yeah, they give you for 3 months tablets.
And when you go for your fifth prescription, it's for free for the rest of the year. So
there is some pharmacies you've just got to look around that do offer free
okay,
free prescriptions.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one on, I think it's called Zoom pharmacies. Well, I haven't looked into that, so don't quote me on that, please.
Yeah.
Quick question about what's a reasonable income for a family of 6 in the Timaru and Christchurch area, depending on what you do. It's easy, depending on what you do. That could be.
I think we should sit down and maybe just draw up a budget again because we did this
Yeah,
4 years ago.
and things have
And
changed.
things have changed
Changed
quite
quite reasonably,
dramatically.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I live on the west coast of New Zealand, and when it rains, it rains. But you just wish it would stop. Can rain 2 weeks non-stop. I fully agree. I've been on the west coast. Remember the west coast? We were at what 1.9
I
meters
think
of rain in
just
48
depends
hours.
on where you live.
Yeah.
The
So-
weather is just
And I can promise you, the weather between here and Hamilton, which is about an hour and a half, can change dramatically.
Mm.
We can have rain and they can have sunshine. So yeah,
Someone's asking about the drinking water. You can drink from the tap.
you can drink from the tap, and you can probably drink from most of the streams in New Zealand.
I know here in Tauranga, just on our way to is it McLaren Falls?
Yeah.
There's a little. I don't know if it's like a stream or what is it like
a fountain thing?
spring or something next to the road, and people go stand. They drive up to there and they take out the containers and they fill it
And the
up
nice
with
thing
water.
is, council or perhaps government, I don't know who did that, made a place where you can park, it start, you can
So you
right
can fill
next
up
to the
there
stream, you can
to
fill
get spring water.
spring water.
But otherwise, the water from the tap's very good.
Yeah.
Very good water.
Since somebody asked me just about medical insurance, I talked about I'll run something there. Liesl Nell saying Christchurch budget looks
Okay.
a lot different than Auckland budget. Our rent for a 4-bedroom in Darfield is
Wow.
$490 a week. Goodness
Wow.
me.
That's about half the price of what you'll pay in
Yeah.
Tauranga. Okay, not
There's
really.
reasons why people
$200
want to live in
less.
Auckland and not in Christchurch, and yeah,
Yeah, I think
That's
it depends on where you
each
are.
to its own. Yeah. So I'll also be.
I think
Not
the
in the
South
future.
Island probably is a little bit more affordable, except when you go to Queens.
But the South Island's for me a bit more remote. It's more
Yeah, it's
wild.
nice.
It's
Nice.
more
Maybe that's the
wild.
perception that
Yeah.
I thought New Zealand looked like that, and it's not.
So I want to say to whoever posted this on the West Coast, when we were there, it rained so much we could not even get out of the car.
Yeah.
The waterfalls was physically pouring in the middle
the
of
road.
the road.
Yeah,
I've got
but
videos
it
of that.
was absolutely
It was
stunning.
absolutely stunning. Yeah. We
Yeah.
could not even see any of the glaciers and stuff, but yeah.
Absolutely stunning.
And
Yeah.
the next day, the sun was shining. It was shining. So,
Yeah.
and actually, when we went to Milford Sound, the guy there said, I think the average rainfall is 8 meters per year. I don't think how much water is 8 meters.
It's enough.
And on that wet note, it's time for us to say goodbye. Love you and leave you. And thanks for listening to us this morning.
Enjoy your day and your
Enjoy
weekend.
your day and your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Same time, same place.
Bye.
Bye.